evening, birds. Welcome to the Age of Nonsense. I'm your big cheese, Cassie Maxey. On tonight's broadcast, we will be beating your gums about all the happenings of the day, from the KKK to Babe Ruth and his home run record, and Charles Lindbergh's flight across the Atlantic. Sit back and enjoy the roaring 20s, violence in the streets and freaks in the sheets. First off, let's send it off to Connor Cowley, who is currently outside the courthouse investigating the Scopes monkey trial.
Thanks, Cass. That's right. I'm down here in the Bible Bell at the Tennessee courthouse where local school teacher John Scopes has just been convicted of teaching evolution over the state statute of creatism taught by the Bible. Later, the presiding judge was quoted to say,
"The statute, which it is alleged the said Scopes violated, is Chapter 27 of the Acts of 1925, which makes it unlawful to teach in the universities, normals, and all other public schools of the state, which are supported in whole or in part by the public school funds of the state, any theory that denies the story of the divine creation of man as taught in the Bible, and teach instead the theory that man descended from a lower order of animals."
Recently, this act has become an integral part of the law in Tennessee. Later in the broadcast, we will determine the sentence of John Scopes. And now, back to you, Cass.
Thanks, Connor. We'll be sure to keep you updated on the latest results of the trial. Now, sending it off from the courthouse to the violent uprisings in the streets, here's Lauren Bell.
Recently, folks, the 18th Amendment has been taken into effect with prohibition. This law has been enforced in order to protect women, children, families, businesses, and more from the high abuse of alcohol that we have seen throughout the nation. Unfortunately, this ruling has not prevented the illegal sale and smuggling of alcohol in places all over, which is causing chaos for people and officials. After this short break, I'll be back with Al Capone, who has been involved in this alcohol issue plaguing the nation.
Mom, I'm so bored. There's nothing to do.
Oh, honey, don't be silly. Right now, there's so much to do with new Knickerbocker's toys. Like, take these new dominoes, for example. Set them all up, and you're off to a grand time.
Mom, that's so cool.
I know. Or, for a change of pace, pick up the new jump rope. It's so easy. Look how fun this is.
Mom, I want one right now.
I know you do. And at the end of the day, when you need an easy, relaxing toy, here's the teddy bear. It's soft, it's cuddly, it's fun.
Mom, I love it. Thank you so much.
Pick up Knickerbocker's toy at a store near you.
Thanks, Cass, you got it. I'm on the streets where organized crime has been picking up lately as Al Capone and other significantly large gangs have been wreaking havoc. Due to the passing of prohibition laws in the 18th Amendment, bootlegging and organized crime have increased dramatically within the past few months. Today I'm in Chicago, where street violence has reached an all-time high under the influence of Al Capone, who has been illegally supplying alcohol to citizens of the city as a top-ranking member of the Five Points gang. Practicing his business openly, Al Capone has been, in his words, merely supplying a public demand within Chicago. Aside from unlawfully providing alcohol, Capone is known for following in the footsteps of partner John Torrio, controlling speakeasies, bookie joints, gambling houses, brothels, horse and race tracks, nightclubs, distilleries, and breweries at an estimated income of $100 million a year. Let's talk to Mr. Capone and hear more on what he believes to merely supplying hospitality. It's a pleasure for you to be here today. I'd first like to ask you a few questions about your well-known involvement in the latest uprisings within the Chicago area.
Shoot.
To begin, what do you have to say about supplying alcohol to the public when it clearly was defying a federal law?
All I ever did was sell beer and whiskey to our best people. All I ever did was to supply a demand that was pretty popular.
Now, can you tell me what your intent was with selling alcohol to citizens of the Chicago area? What do you plan on gaining from this?
Public service is my motto. 90% of the people of Cook County drink and gamble, and my offense has been to furnish them with those amusements. My booze has been good in my games on the square. I do not plan on gaining anything. My intent is merely to provide the public and supply a community full of wants.
I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Capone. Do you have anything else to add, or would you like to defend yourself against allegations made against you concerning illegality supplying alcohol?
I feel as if I have explained myself well enough. All I have to say is that I'm not one of those radicals knocking the American system. The American system is ours. Call it Americanism, call it capitalism, call it what you will, given each and every one of us a great opportunity if we only seize it with both hands and make the most of it. That is what I feel I'm doing.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Capone.
Thank you, Lauren. The violence out there has been developing severely throughout the past year, and it's interesting to get another point of view on it from Al Capone himself. Clearly, the support for prohibition has met its opponents, and they will continue to ignore this new law, no matter what the cost. On a lighter note, Charles Lindbergh has managed to finish his first flight across the Atlantic Ocean.
In 1927, a lanky young airmail pilot, Charles Lindbergh, captured the imagination of the world by attempting to fly alone straight across the Atlantic. His plane had no radio, no gauges for the gas tanks. It was called the Spirit of St. Louis.
He left from Roosevelt Field near New York City on May 20th in his plane, the Spirit of St. Louis, and he landed near Paris at Le Bourget Field about 33 and a half hours later. Cheering crowds greeted him as he became a hero when he finished his 3,600-mile flight. He's a hero across the world, and people everywhere will idolize him. In regards to his flight, he was quoted, "I owned the world that hour as I rode over it. Free of earth, free of mountains, free of the clouds. But how inseparably I was bound to them." Here's a small clip of the plane and his surely historic flight.
Thanks, Cass. Yep, that's right. I'm here with baseball all-star Babe Ruth. Babe the Bambino Ruth has just recently broken the single-season record for home runs with 60. Now, Babe, obviously this is a huge accomplishment. Did you ever think this day would come?
You know, this feeling is incomparable to anything else I've ever felt. I hope this record can stay forever. I think it's going to be impossible without some kind of performance-enhancing drug, although.
Now, it's been said that you once wanted to stray away from the game of baseball.
That's right. I was interested in sports beside the game of baseball. During a visit to Hawaii, I met up with the surfing legend Duke Kanakoma, but I cannot just stray away from America's greatest pastime.
Now, you've been with the Yankees for quite some time now. Do you regret leaving the Red Sox at all?
Absolutely not. They were holding me back, and if I had not been traded, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
Pretty harsh feelings. Well, somebody else who has harsh feelings against you is President Hoover, who has stated some distaste for you, particularly in response to your enormous salary, which is, as of now, more than his.
Well, my response to him is, why not? I had a bet of the year than him.
Well, that's Babe the Bambino Ruth for ya. Thanks, guys.